So I'm going to keep it pretty quick today just because my mom and my sister and my nephew are down visiting. But I just wanted to hop on and talk to you guys a little bit since I just got back from New Leader Conference last weekend in LA. It was amazing. I, every single person on this call on our team needs to put that on their bucket list, on their goals list to go to New Leader Conference because it was awesome. Any time that you get to go to an event like that and just be in community with other women, other coaches who are working towards the same kind of goals as you and who have the same kind of positive attitudes and like dreams and goals for themselves, it just lights your fire. It's kind of like going to Summit, but this was even like an even more like intimate level, I guess you could say, because there was only about 400 of us there compared to the thousands and thousands of people who are at Summit. But it was an incredible weekend. I'll give you all like a short little recap of what we did. So I got there Thursday night, kind of late, and basically all I did was go back to the room and go to bed. I'm such a like introvert. I just wanted to get back, go to sleep because I got there about 7 LA time, but that was 10 o'clock here, and I had been up since 4 o'clock. And then on Friday morning, I actually got to go do a tour of the Beachbody headquarters, which was like probably my favorite part of the whole trip, just because it was so cool to see like where all the magic happens kind of. They have like a Shakeology wall that has a lot of the main ingredients in Shakeology on it. They're not all up there, but it's pretty cool to see all the different superfoods and things that go into it. That was cool. They have their own, they call them Shakeistas, and it's kind of like Starbucks, but it's Shakeology, and they can put their order in online for their shake, and they'll like go upstairs and pick it up, or if you're super busy, they'll bring it to you. I was like, man, that would be nice. And then they had like 3 different gyms on each. They had a gym like on each floor. They were so nice. And they like literally had any kind of equipment you could think of, TVs all over the walls. So employees that work there are allowed to go in there and work out anytime that they want to. And I was like, I could move to LA if I could work here. And then probably the other coolest thing that we saw while we were there is this like hidden hallway that Carl has. And basically he parks out back and he has to walk through this hallway to get into the office, and he writes all over the walls, and anything like any inspirational thing that comes to his mind or any crazy big dream that he thinks of, he puts it on the wall. And that was just so cool to see like all of his inspiration and everything that basically it's like the start of any great idea that comes from him goes on that wall. And so that was pretty cool. And then Friday afternoon, I guess, we had our first session. And if Carl spoke to us, and then the 3 coaches who were there were, there's 4, I guess. Amy Rada, who finished, I think she was number 5 at the end of the year, Ali Testatori, and Keisha Fitzgerald. And then Ashley Molstad was also there, and she was the top coach last year. And so we heard from all of them. We heard from some people at corporate just about different things. And then we had a welcome reception Friday night, and actually got to meet Carl and take a picture with him and everything. And he was super nice, so much fun. And then I got to meet Autumn, which I had met her in Mexico last year, but I got to talk to her again. And then Saturday morning, we had a live workout with Autumn, and she wouldn't let us video any of it because it was one of the new 21 Day Fix workouts. So y'all know that they're getting ready to remake 21 Day Fix and Fix Extreme, and they're going to be recording it live, similarly to how they've done like 80 Day Obsession, Lift 4, Transform 20, where every single day is a new workout. And y'all know how 21 Day Fix is like the same workouts every single week. Well, with the new versions, it's going to be the same moves, but it's going to get a little bit harder each week, and she's going to ramp it up. So it's not going to be the exact same workout for 3 weeks in a row. And so I'm super excited about that. It was an amazing workout. Super fun. Then we had breakfast and everything. And then we had a morning session and an afternoon session. And we just heard from all of the top coaches again that were there speaking. They talked about different things. I haven't really had a chance to like sit down and process everything that I heard while I was there all weekend because there were so many good things. So today I'm just going to talk about one thing. And then over the next couple months, probably, I'll just be sharing with you guys like little bits and pieces of each speaker that I heard from in their topic because every single topic was amazing. And then what else did we do? So we had our afternoon session and then we had just like a celebration dinner that was super nice. The food was so good. And then we had a game night to end it. So that was pretty cool. And I actually my name got drawn and I got to go up there and play a game. It was pretty fun. But what I want to talk about today is belief. And this is the topic that Ashley Molstad talked to us about and every single person that we heard from over the weekend, that was kind of like a universal theme of everything is that it all starts with belief and it all starts with you and that confidence that you have and the belief that you have in yourself because we have an amazing opportunity here. Like every single person on this call, your life has been changed because of Beachbody and because of these workouts. And we all know that it's so much more than just working out. It's not just about losing weight. It's not just about looking good or liking your appearance. It's not physical. It is a complete, total life transformation that can happen when you go all in and you believe in yourself and you surround yourself with this community. And that's the key, I think, is the community. And I wanted to talk about this because I think it's the one thing that holds so many of us back from reaching the goals that we want to reach, from hitting Success Club, from rank advancing, from just having the courage to reach out to somebody who you know needs this in their life, but we just don't believe in ourselves enough and we're not brave enough in our own our own worth and our own abilities to lead somebody else that we're just afraid to reach out to them in the first place. And this doesn't even have to apply just to your Beachbody business. It can apply to any aspect of your life. If you don't have that belief, then it's going to make it 100 times harder. And pretty much every single person that we heard from over the weekend who is super successful, like all of these women who we heard from, Amy, Allie, and Keisha, and Ashley, they all have been in this business for a while before they finally got over that hurdle. And that hurdle was a belief, and the belief in themselves and that I can actually do this. Like, we hold ourselves back. Like, literally, I just finished reading the 10X Rule. If you have not read that book, put it in your Amazon cart and buy it like today and start reading it because it was kind of like surreal how I was reading that book while I was at New Leader Conference because it was like everything that he says in the 10X Rule and everything that they were telling us over the weekend just like went right together. And it was just about getting over that hurdle to finally have, it's almost like an aha moment, like a realization that, okay, like if she can do this, so can I. Like, what is holding me back? Literally, and that's what Grant Cardone says in the book, is the only limits that you have on yourself are the ones that you put there. Nobody else limits you and your potential and what you can do other than yourself. And I have some quotes that I wrote down from his book that I wanted to share. And this one is actually from John C. Maxwell. If you haven't read any of his books, they're really, really awesome too. Emily and I both just finished his 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. It's awesome. And I just got one's called How Successful People Think. I haven't started it yet, but I'm really excited about it. But he says, the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to be better is that we're growing today. And that's just like, it's just like an aha moment for me. Like, we get to choose how tomorrow is going to go. and how the future is. Like, obviously there's things that are out of our control, but for the things that we can control, like, it's up to us to make that decision that we're going to do what we can today to grow today and become better today, so tomorrow we can be even better. And then another one from him is, if, which I don't even know if this is him, but he just put it in his book, but is, if it is to be, it's up to me. Like, no one is going to do it for you. No one's, especially with a business like this, you guys, like, you are your own boss. You are your CEO. This is your business. No one is going to come knocking on your door and say, hey, did you send your invites today? Or did you show up today? Did you read your personal development today? Like, treat it like it's your full-time job, especially if that's what you want it to be. If you want it to be your full-time job one day, which I know we all have different goals, but if that's your ultimate goal, treat it right now like it is already your full-time job. And you think about, like, your boss at work. Like, you're going to show up because you have that expectation there. And that's the way you have to treat this. You have to realize that, okay, I'm my own boss and no one's going to do it for me. And I've got to be the one to choose to show up today. And that has been, like, so powerful for me, especially since we've started using the Success Club tracker, which I absolutely love. I know it can be a little overwhelming for some people, but especially if you're just getting started, like, don't let the tracker overwhelm you and feel like if you're just starting that you have to check every single box. Like, start with the basic things that you know you can do every day, and just start with those and check all those off for a week in a row. And then add one thing and try until you get to where you can check all the boxes, instead of it just being like, well, I can't do it all, so I'm just not going to do any of it. That's just a limiting belief that you have in yourself. And let's see, another quote I wanted to share. Let's see. Oh, fear. This is a good one. So, going along with the belief that we have in ourselves, and basically the limiting beliefs, I guess, that we have that hold us back, is fear. Like, we have those because we're scared of something. And sometimes we don't really realize that that's what it is, but most of the time that's why we hold ourselves back, even if it's unconsciously. There's something we're scared of, even if it's success. Like, sometimes we're scared of failure. It's like, oh, if I go for this and do this, what if I fail? Okay, what if you do? You just get right back up and you learn something and you keep going. But sometimes we're scared of success too. We're like, okay, what if, and we might not even realize it. It might be like a subconscious thing. Like, if I'm successful and I do this, like, what if I can't handle it when I get there? Then that holds us back. But Grant Cardone, this is from him, it says, but rather than seeing fear as a sign to run, as most other people in the market will do, it must become your indicator to go. So basically, if it's scary, or if it, like, sparks some kind of fear inside you, or it's uncomfortable, that should be your trigger that, okay, I'm on the right track. I got to do this. And I love that, because I feel like in the last few months of my business, I have really gotten uncomfortable. And I have seen more growth in the last few months than I had in the last 2 years. And I think that's because I'm consistently trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone into those areas where it's kind of scary. Like, for example, hosting our first sneak peek last month that Emily and I did. Like, we had both never done that because we were scared to do it. We didn't think that we could. We were like, we're just gonna let somebody else do it, and we're just gonna tag along on theirs. And the reason I had never done it myself was because I was like, if I have my own sneak peek, what if there's only like 2 people in there? What if I can't get anybody to join? And then it will just be like a flop. Like, that's literally what I thought in my head. And I also was scared that I wouldn't be able to tell my story and explain coaching in a way that was appealing to people. When I do it all the time through messages or on the phone, but it was like I was just holding myself back. And Emily, if you want to chime in on any of that, you can. But I feel like you felt the same way. Like, and we just had to go for it. Like, the reason we did it is because I had a call with my corporate mentor. Her name's Mary. And she challenged me. She was like, if you want to be an elite team this year, you need to start hosting your own sneak peeks every month. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I set the date with her while I was on the call with her, because I was like, if I don't set the date, then I'm not going to do it. And so that's going to be another big thing that I focus on for the rest of this year, is just deciding that I'm going to do something and I'm going to put it on the calendar and I'm going to do it. Because if I don't put it on the calendar in my little planner, it don't happen ever, because I talk myself out of it because it's scary, and it's a limiting belief that I have about whatever it is that I want to do, like hosting a free group or hosting a new coach call or anything like that. You just have to go for it. And I know it's so much easier just to say this than to actually do it, but like embracing the fear and going towards it instead of letting it hold you back. Because this next thing that I wanted to share is, when you allow fear to set you back, you lose energy, momentum, and confidence, and your fear will only grow. So when something seems scary and you let it, you retreat from it and you don't do it, then that fear only grows. But if you run towards it and you do it anyways, and you say, okay, even though I'm really scared to do this, I'm really scared to reach out to this person, or I'm really scared to host this group, but you do it anyway, and then more likely than not, you're going to be successful. And when you are successful, even no matter how small the win is, your confidence is going to grow. And every single small thing adds to your confidence. And it's almost like I don't know a good analogy for this, but like a little battery pack or something, if you want to think of your confidence like that. And every time that you embrace something that's uncomfortable or that scares you, you're adding power to your little battery. And the more you do it, the faster it grows. And then you keep doing it, and then it kind of just keeps building on its own. But then when you unplug and you step back, then you lose some of that power. And then you kind of have to start over to start building up your momentum again. Let me look. I've been rambling, so I want to look through my notes from what I wrote down about Ashley. But the biggest thing that she said was, her biggest point was how powerful of a weapon that our minds are. Because she was the girl who, she didn't feel like she had a story. She didn't feel like she could ever be inspiring to someone. She suffered from depression. She had been suicidal. She literally did not believe in herself at all, that she could have the ability to inspire someone else, because she was barely hanging on just on her own as it was. And then she didn't feel like she was interesting. Like, she didn't have a story. But then she finally just embraced the fact that she's someone who really enjoys drinking. And I don't relate to her really at all, but her story is still so powerful. Like, she just finally owned and embraced who she was and ran with it. And that's why she's been so successful. And that's what every single top coach has done. They just finally stop trying to be somebody that they're not, or to fit into some kind of mold of something about how they think they should be, and just embrace who they are. And then that's when they take off, because that's when they're being their most true, authentic self, and when they can actually start building that belief in themselves, because they're finally being themselves and finally being who they are. Let's see. This was like a gut check when she said this, but she was telling her story, and she was going through everything about how powerful your mind is and your mindset, and just all of the things that she would read. And she would just go to top coaches' YouTube channels and watch trainings, and just like learn and do as much as she could. And she was like, I finally came to the realization that if you're not successful, it's your own fault. And when she said that, I was like, whoa, you're so right. Like, I don't want to hear that, but you're so right. And that just talking about how in the beginning as a leader, it's about building your confidence and all of those small little wins along the way. Let's see, what else did she say? And you know how we have all these dreams, or you want to do all these things and you feel like it's impossible, but really everything is impossible until it's not. When she said that, I was like, wow, like everything that you set out to do, like it feels like it's impossible until you get there and you do it and you're like, okay, like I did it. Like, this is awesome. And then that boosts your belief and your confidence even more. So you just have to keep going, and then you might get knocked down. You might set a goal and it doesn't happen. But don't treat it like a failure and let it push you back. Let it propel you forward. Let it be one of those things where it's like, okay, I set this goal and maybe I didn't get there, but what did I learn? How can I reflect on this and say, okay, this didn't work. What do I need to change? And how do I need to grow? And I think that is one of the biggest things that we can do in this business, especially if you've been in it for a while, and things are just not working the way that you want them to. Then do you keep doing the same exact thing every month that's still not working? We need to reevaluate. And sometimes it takes reaching out to somebody else and talking through it with them for you to realize, okay, I've been doing this for like 6 months now and it's not working. What should I do? And because a lot of times those things are hard to figure out on your own. So like even something as simple as like hitting Success Club or something, if you've been pushing for it every single month over month, and you're still struggling, then what are you doing right now? Let's outline it and say, okay, this is what I'm doing every day and it's not working. So what do we need to change? And start acting. I am like such a huge believer in this, but act however, like if you want to be a top 10 coach, start acting like a top 10 coach right now, even though you're not yet. And like every single time I go to one of those events, that's how I dress and that's how I show up, is as if I'm already a top coach, because that's where I want to be. And that's the only way I'm going to get there, is if I start acting like a top coach. So when you come home at night and you really just want to lay on the couch and do whatever, or you don't want to do your workout today, or you want to go through the drive-thru at where, I don't even know. I don't go through the drive-thru very often, but if you go like Chick-fil-A, okay, well, you can get healthy stuff at Chick-fil-A, so that's why I wasn't going to say that. But if you want to go through a Chick-fil-A, stop and think, okay, would a top coach do that right now? Would a top coach skip her workout today? Would a top coach come home and not work her business today just because she doesn't feel like it? No, they do it anyways. And I just think that's super powerful, like stepping into those shoes of who you want to be. And it just kind of, I don't know if is that making sense? Shake your heads if it does. Okay. 'Cause like I usually always go, and it's not like this is a big deal, and this is just a me thing because I'm like kind of extra and I like to dress up and all that. But when I went to leadership this time, I was like, I don't want to show up to sessions in my workout clothes like I usually do. So I packed clothes and I showed up as if I was going to be on that stage talking to everyone. I dressed in a way that would make me want to sit in my seat and pay attention and like not zone out and not just feel like I was comfortable, relaxing, whatever. So I dressed up, and a lot of people did and a lot of people didn't. And is dressing up to go to a session going to make me a top coach? No. But it's just like that mindset, that mental like feeling I gave myself. And I just think that's huge. And one of the last things that I want to share, because I wanted to try to keep it the content part of this call to 30 minutes, is borrow confidence from your future self if you don't have it yet. I thought that was, she actually said that, and I was like, man, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, envision, stop and think about if you're struggling, take some time today or tomorrow and sit down for 30 minutes and just write down why am I doing this? Why did I join Beachbody in the very first place in the beginning? When my coach reached out to me, why did I respond to her message? Why did I say yes to joining this challenge group? Where was I then? And how has my life changed between now and then? Or then and now? And then how else do I want my life to change? What do I want my future to look like? Because that story of where you started and where you are now, that's what's going to inspire somebody else. That's the girl that you need to talk to every time you make a post, every time you send an invite, every time that you put yourself out there. Talk to that girl who is struggling with what you struggled with 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 months ago, whatever it is, because there is somebody out there in your shoes of where you used to be. And you are living proof that they can get through it, and that there is hope and something positive, and that they can do hard things too. If you can do it, then heck, why couldn't I do it? That's why I started, because I watched Emily for like 6 months, and I watched her and I was like, she does the same things I do. She travels and goes to horse shows all the time. She's in school, she works, and she still is healthy and fit. Why can't I do that if she does it? That's literally the reason I started. And I think sometimes we get so far into our journey and we forget that. So if you take some time to sit down and write down 3 things, I want you to write down 3 things of why you did this, why you started this, and how your life has been changed. 3 things, and those are going to be the 3 things, and you might have more than that, but at least 3. And those will be the things that you talk about, because those are the things that like touch your heart the most. Like, I got on a call with some new coaches the other night who are working towards the Success Starter program, and I was just talking about how powerful of an opportunity this is and how much an impact it can make on somebody's life, and I literally started crying. And I'm not a crier at all, if you know me, but I was just like, I'm sorry I'm being emotional, but this is like a life-changing thing. And that's how I want us to think about it, because I know sometimes it can feel like, oh, I don't know what to say, or I don't want to bug people or any of that. But think about the gift that you could be giving someone. And Becca told me this the other day when we were on a call, and she was like, I just think of when I'm sending an invite or replying to messages, I try to envision the girl who's sitting on the other side of that phone. And instead of thinking about what I want to do, I try to envision her and see whatever she's struggling with and how can I help her. And I think that that was super powerful. And if you focus on that and you focus on your story, but then also after you come up with your 3 things of how your life has changed, think about your future. I don't know if y'all listen to the Rise podcast. This is there's one where it's the best, right? Rachel did a podcast where she reads the first chapter or the only chapter of her Start Today journal. Or if you have a Start Today journal, read it. But she did a podcast where she read the first chapter, and she walks you through how to set goals and basically how to envision your future and how you want it. And I think I loved sitting down and doing that with her. So I would go find that one. I'll see after we get off here, I will try to find it and screenshot it. That way y'all will be able to get it. But do that and think about where you want to go, and think about every little small thing. Like, What kind of house do you want to live in? How do you want to feel? Like your body. How much energy do you have? How confident are you? When you walk into a room, what kind of energy do you put off? All the way down to those types of things, all the way up to like, what do you want your full-time job to be? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to go on vacation? What do you want for your kids? What do you want to be able to do for them? All like from the tiniest little thing from how you feel every day all the way to the big things. Think about them and write them down. And then when you're scared or when you're having trouble believing in yourself, think about your future self and borrow some of that confidence from her and use it today. What's the last things that she said is bet on yourself. Because if you're not going to bet on yourself, who is? Okay, that's all I got.
Becca and I were kind of talking about that same thing the other night because I was telling her that's been, of course, I was sick for a really long time, but the belief thing is really what I'd struggled with, well, while I was pregnant and even before that.
Mm-hmm. We all struggle with it. It's not just like when we're struggling with that, we feel so alone. Like we feel like we're the only ones struggling with that, but that's so far from the truth. Because everyone struggles with it at some point or another.
And it's funny you say like to act like you're that. I bought myself a MacBook last night because I felt like I could like get myself organized, and that's what I want to be. And
nice.
I'm excited.
You're gonna love it.
Best investment ever.
Yeah, I'm excited, and because I have a Dell, and it's been good. It's like 5 years old, but it's just like it's so slow. Like I went to get on a call with Becca the other night, and I texted her. I'm like, it'll be a couple minutes. I'm like, it's still loading. I can't get it to come up.
Apple products are the best because like they never get outdated. You just get to update every day when it comes out. You know?
And I have an iPhone. I have an Apple Watch, so I'm like, I might as well just have the MacBook too.
Yeah. But I just think thinking of it in that way, like from day to day, because it can be so hard when you're in the daily grind of things, especially like all of us who work full time and we're trying to build a business. Sometimes it is so hard. Like when you get home from work, the last thing you want to do is get on your computer again.
Yeah.
Like I get it. But something that I've been doing here lately to like basically have like a trigger, I guess is what you could call it, is a trigger to like transition me from work and driving home to getting home and getting to work on my business is like a freaking Bad A playlist that I listen to in the car on my way home, and I just jam, no matter how tired I am when I leave the office, because someday I get up at freaking 4:00 in the morning, so by Friday I'm tired, but I get in my car and I turn on this playlist and I blast it. And I'm like sitting in traffic on the interstate, but I'm like jamming out because then by the time I get home, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. And sometimes it's as easy as that. Like change your state. Like even if you come home and you're like, okay, I'm going to come home. I'm going to take 30 minutes just to myself to wind down from the day. Okay, do that, but then change your state. Put on some music and dance around your living room for 5 minutes and then sit down to work. So it's not like you're just going from like desk to desk with like nothing in between. Like break it up and change your energy, change your state. And like that's something that Tony Robbins talks about all the time, and it's so powerful. Like the other day when I was having such a terrible morning, that's what I had to do is like I got in my car and I had to listen to some music that was going to change my mental state, or the whole rest of my day was going to continue to go downhill. And we can do those same little things, have those little triggers to make us take some action and get to work on our business, because then it's hard. It's hard. But another thing that I had this realization at Summit last year, but I also had this realization again last weekend while I was in LA is that if I don't quit, I will make it. Like, I will. And so will every single one of you. If you just don't quit, you'll make it, because that's what happens. The people who don't make it are the people who quit when it gets hard. The people who stop showing up when life gets crazy. But if you keep showing up, you will make it because you'll figure it out along the way. And that was another thing that Grant Cardone talks about in the 10X rule is commit to it and then figure it out later. Figure it out as you go. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You don't have to know all there is to know today. Just figure it out. Just commit. This is what I'm going to do. And you figure it out as you go. And you learn as you go. And every single little tiny thing that you do builds to your confidence bucket. And it just keeps adding up and adding up and adding up. And then one day you're going to wake up and be like, I made it. But you just can't quit.
When you took a picture of like the top 10 coaches and posted it, like it just hit me in the face. That is a freaking human, like a female human, which is what I am. And she's the number one right there. Like, there's no reason, you know. It's like you said, like you decide to do it and you do it. Like, why can't I do that if she did that? You know, like, yeah.
Reach, sister, yes. Oh my goodness. These types of topics get me pumped up and I love it.
For sure.
And that's like just having the accountability with each other too. Like, we have accountability with our fitness and we're awesome at that. Like, our accountability group is incredible. Like, the energy that place has had for the past 2 months just blows my mind every single day. And every day I'm like, I feel like I go through and see everyone's stuff every day, but then the next day I'll be like, oh, I missed that one, I missed so much because there's so much going on. Mm-hmm. But we need that same kind of accountability for our business, especially if we have these big goals, because in my opinion, a lot of us have gotten to the point with our fitness that, yeah, we still need the accountability, but not at that extreme level. Like, we're going to show up every day because we have made it a habit, but with our businesses, we haven't made it that habit yet. We're not strong enough in it by ourselves to keep pushing through every single day when it gets hard. We show up when it feels good, but when it's a rough day, we don't lean on each other for accountability in the business side of things enough, in my opinion. So, and that's like, just Emily and I kind of made this commitment with each other on Wednesday that this week we're going to check off every single box on our tracker. In the past 2 days, I have checked off every single box, even though it's been crazy. And normally I would have let the fact that I've got people visiting, we're busy doing all kinds of things, I've been working, I would have let those things keep me from checking all those boxes just because I believed in my brain that I can't get that done because I got people here. No. Like, and I'm going to keep posting it. I posted it on Thursday and I posted it yesterday. I'm going to post it in that group every single day, every single time I check off every box, because I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to put it out there. And I'm going to put it out there for the accountability for me, because I said I was going to do it, and I'm going to show y'all that I am doing it.
I really appreciate it because I wasn't even using the tracker. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I just never, when I commented, I was like, I don't even have mine printed off. Like, I really didn't. So, like, next day at work, I went and printed off 3 copies. And I pretty much, like, there was a few boxes that I haven't checked in the past 2 days. But, like, this is my invite list from yesterday. Like, everybody that I sent up. But I got another coach signed up last night. And then another girl, I'm just waiting for her to finish her enrollment. So, like, it works. Like, you just have to work it. And, like, because of you guys, I worked it.
Yes, it works. That's the thing. Like, this has been the best I have felt about my business and the best I have felt about helping other people build this business, because we finally have that tracker wherever mine is. we finally have this piece of paper that's like, if you do these things, you will hit Success Club. You will sign up new coaches. You will build this business. You will change your life. Little tracker. And it makes me so happy because y'all know how I am about checking off them boxes. I love it.
I'm a list person. So, and because like I said, I've been not with it, but I talked to Becca the other night, and after that, I got on there, saved all of the trackers and all of the everything, and I'm out of ink. So I'll print out ink, but.
Yeah, and it's just like when I was in LA, I didn't have a clean one with me. Like I left on Thursday and I forgot to take a blank one, but I had my old one. So I just like found a piece of paper and I made my own. And I was like still trying to check everything off. But it's just like it's so simple, and sometimes like
we overcomplicate it.
Yes. Like look at this and we feel like I can't get all that done today. I only have an hour. Mm-hmm. Honey, you check all these things off in an hour. Yeah. You can. You just have to be intentional with your time.
And I was talking to Becca because with Anissa, it's a lot harder to just sit down for an hour. Like I had it on mute. She was screaming. So, but she said Carla like breaks them down into like 5-minute increments.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Doing it all at one time. So that's what I've been trying to do. And then whenever she goes to sleep, it's nice too because she's in bed and Caleb's in bed and it's just me and the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I like to think is like, as far as your stories go, like you're just kind of doing that throughout the day. And the only things that are in that section that I have to really intentionally like make myself go do is like the invites or the shout outs or the recognition things. Like those are the only things I have to be like, okay, and maybe the product use, because sometimes like I use my stuff every day, but sometimes I forget to like take a boomerang of it or whatever. But with like the recognition and all that, I think it has helped my business more by doing that on my stories every day, because it's showing people that it's not just me getting results. It's all of us. And who doesn't love to be shouted out and been like, hey girl, you're doing good? Like everybody loves it. And it's literally part of our to-do list to do that for somebody every day. And I think it's bringing even more community among all of us and showing everybody else who hasn't joined us yet that everyone is getting results. It's not just me. And like Emily's network, it's not just Emily that they're seeing. And I think that's really powerful. And then the rest of these things like contributing to your challenge group and working out and responding to likes and comments. Like you don't really have, at least personally for me, I don't really have to be like, okay, I got to sit down for 10 minutes and do that. It's just kind of something I just automatically do throughout my day anyways. So it's easy for me to check those boxes. And then at the end, either on my lunch break or at the end of the day, I just have to sit down and be intentional about, okay, I need to invite some people and I need to follow up with some people. And I need to recognize somebody if I haven't already. And those are kind of like my 3 things that require like the most brain power, I guess. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say something. Oh, sorry. No, I was so glad you posted that on Valentine's Day, because I was like on the way home and I was like tired, and I just didn't really want to do anything. I didn't want to finish, my boxes, but I was like, I saw that you posted that, so I did it, and I was like, there's just so, and I was like, because I've been trying to get more sleep anyway.
Yeah, preach it.
Because I struggle with that. And it affects my mental state, and I'm starting to see that. And so I am trying to work on that too. But I was like, I'm going to do this. Like I could, on the way home from Nashville, I could scroll or I could do my work. And so it's just looking at it like that. We always have a choice. And I love having the accountability. I feel like that's helped me so much with sticking to my stuff. And like yesterday, I'll just be honest, like I did not want to talk to another human, and I was so ill, and I'm just so sick and tired of people making excuses. And it's thank God we did this virtually, because I probably would have choked some people out yesterday. I'm just gonna be real honest. And I didn't want to talk to another person, but I went ahead, I finished my stuff, and then I got off social media. But that's just like the power of accountability. I just think it's helped me so much, because yesterday, like, I just get in these moods. It's PMS. I got all these hormone issues, and I'll just be ill. Like, I'll let that affect. I've let that affect how I show up this whole time. And like, I think that's what's helped me it's helped me stay accountable. So no matter if I feel like the biggest bee in America, like, I'm still going to show up.
Yeah. The accountability is everything. And that's why, like, with the hustle group, that's what I want that to be. I want it to be like a challenge group for a business. And I am going to post about this, but we're going to have like some new requirements to get into the group. And then there's going to be requirements to stay in the group, because that group has to be a tight-knit group of us who are working together to go as far as we can go. And I already like created the little graphic and things, but from now on, to get into the group, you are going to have to hit Success Club for your first time and rank advanced to Emerald. And that's how you're going to get into the group. And then to stay in the group, you have to make Success Club a non-negotiable every single month. And if you don't hit it, and you have to share your tracker, that's the other thing. You have to share your tracker, and you have to hit Success Club and make it non-negotiable. And every single person can do that. And especially if you're serious about this business, it's vital. Like, you've got to do it. And then if there's times where you need to take a step back, then we'll take you out of the group. And when you're ready to hustle again, you can come back. Like, and I think if we keep it that way, it's like almost, I don't know how to say this, but like a friendly competition kind of. But like, I don't know about y'all, but that makes me hustle even more. Like, when I see other people achieving and like reaching their goals and like doing all these big crazy things, that makes me want to hustle even more. Because I'm like, man, look at her. Like, I'm so proud of everyone. And then it makes me want to work even harder. And I hope that everybody feels like that with that group.
Like you said, like, it's impossible until it's possible, until it's been done. So like, when you see all these women doing it, it's like, okay, well, the only reason that I'm not doing it is because I'm making every excuse in the world not to do it, and I'm not working. Like, I'm not putting the work in, because it's totally possible. It's totally doable. So it's a really nice incentive to be like, look, you either do it or you're out. You know, like, it's like non-negotiable here. I think that's a really good incentive to like keep the pressure on people, you know?
Yeah. And because it's like everything, like, we're a team. Like, we're doing this together. Like, the success of all of us is what helps the rest of us be successful. Like, this business, you can't do this business on your own. Like, and you feed off of that from other people. You feed off of that success and that momentum and that energy. And that's what I want that group to be. I want it to be like every single day. I actually have a plan. I wrote it. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all. So I'm excited about this. I wrote it down. But if I can find it. Did I put it in my phone? Where did I write this down? I wrote it down somewhere. Hang on. I wrote this down somewhere, and I had ideas for every day of the week to keep us all pumped up. Maybe I wrote it in this notebook. No, it must be in here. Okay, I don't know where I wrote it down. Somewhere, on a piece of paper somewhere. But for every single day of the week, I wanted it to be like, okay, Monday, our focus is the National Wake Up Call, and if they do a Slay Squad call that night, like they've been doing. But I want to post a thread in the hustle group for the National Wake Up Call that's like, okay, when you listen to it, post, comment below, and tell us what your biggest takeaway was. And what are you going to implement from that call? And then on Tuesday, have it kind of be like a tip Tuesday and kind of rotate through all of us, like, and share something that's working for you. Like, it can be anything, like something super, super simple or all the way up to, like, how you stay organized. But just kind of each one of us take turns sharing what's working in our businesses. And then on Wednesday, what did I say? Oh, since Wednesday is like our last day of the week and kind of like our hustle to hit a goal for Thursday, something that Keisha Fitzgerald shared with us at leadership was that she does this thing with this challenge with her team that's like 11 in 22. She wants you to do 11 invites in 22 minutes. And they like sit down and like bust them out together. And just like some kind of challenge or something like that together on Wednesdays. And then on Thursdays, do basically just like recognition, shout outs, like celebrating each other. And then Friday, what did I say Friday? Oh, we have like the Dynasty group, it does like a live workout on Fridays. On Friday morning, I think they do like a morning one and then like a noonish one. But like any of us who work out super early in the morning, I thought we could all like start jumping on that just because that gives us like another level of community and stuff that we can show everyone. And they offer it, so we might as well take advantage of it. And then obviously we have our team calls on Saturdays, and then on Sunday just being all about getting prepared for your week, and doing like your meal prep and all of those things. And I had an idea for like a post thread or something for Sunday, but I can't remember what it was. I have to find my piece of paper. I can't remember. But I'm going to have to hop off here, but I hope I didn't really like spend a bunch of time preparing, but I was like, I just want to talk about this because I think it's something we all struggle with, and we can't really talk about it enough because it's like, if you can push past that barrier of just believing that if they can do it, so can I, then the sky's the limit. Like my necklace says, that's what it says. It says limitless. And that's what I try to remind myself of every single day, is that I'm limitless. My potential is limitless. So is yours. We can do this.
Good girl, that is good.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.